Hello, my name is Abby Heber, and for this week, I'm choosing to do my discussion on an article by Douglas Winiarski, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. I apologize if I'm not. But the title of the article is Jonathan Edwards' Enthusiast, Radical Revivalism, and the Great Awakening in the Connecticut Valley. So Jonathan Edwards was born in 1703 and he died in 1758 of smallpox at just the age of 55 years old. But he was a prominent American theologian and preacher during the First Great Awakening. For Edwards, the wonders of nature were proof of the genius of a creator, and at a mere 11 years old, he wrote about this in a letter on October 31st of 1723. For more on this topic, I would suggest reading the letter. It's about the nature and the behavior of spiders and how they reflect the presence of a creator. It's very interesting, but it's a little bit too detailed for this discussion post, but I would suggest reading it. Also, the article, The Flying Spider by David S. Wilson, he does a great breakdown of that letter as well. So Edwards entered Yale College in 1716 at the age of almost 13 years old, so very young. And in the following year, he became acquainted with John Locke's essay concerning human understanding, which influenced him profoundly. Known for his sermons and writings, Edwards emphasized the sovereignty of God, the depravity of humanity, and the necessity of divine grace for salvation. His most famous sermon, and some of you may have heard of it, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, epitomized his powerful and vivid preaching style. Edwards also made significant contributions to philosophical and theological discourse, particularly in his work on religious affection and philosophical theology. His impact on American religious thought and revivalism remains very influential to this day. It's very hard to talk about the Great Awakening. I think you'd be hard pressed to without mentioning Jonathan Edwards. So this is where Winiarski's article comes in, and Winiarski examines Edwards' role in the Great Awakening, particularly in the Connecticut River Valley, that period of time. The thesis of Winiarski's work is that Jonathan Edwards, who is traditionally viewed as a moderate figure in the Great Awakening, exhibited significant elements of religious enthusiasm. Winiarski argues that Edwards' revivalist activities and theological positions aligned him very closely with the more radical and ecstatic aspects of revival movement, challenging the established social and religious norms of New England at the time. This reevaluation of Edwards positions him not just as a key figure in the Great Awakening, but as one who is deeply engaged with and influential in the era's radical religious fervor. However, the impact of Edwards is still something that deserves much more attention and study. Final lines of Winiarski's work read to this as they state, "The role is that his," referring to Edwards, "moderating revival zeal may have played in that notorious affair remains an unexplored issue that demands close attention from scholars seeking to reconstruct the radical underworld of the Great Awakening." So this work by Douglas Winiarski has only sparked my interest in the preaching impact of Jonathan Edwards. And I hope it's added something to your studies as well for this course. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to reading and listening to all of your discussion posts. Thank you.